Hello, welcome back to my channel. So part 3 of the test review packets, and this is the last page, I think. Yep, just a single-sided page of the review, and this is just the last bit of the acid bases part of the unit. So for number 19, says write the complete neutralization reaction. Let me adjust the lighting on this thing. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. Okay. You know what? I think this is the best we can do. Alright, there we go. Write the completed neutralization reaction for the following reactants, identifying the acid, base, salt, and water for each. So, we have acid and base. How do we know this is an acid? It is starting with an H. How do we know this is a base? It is ending with OH. Okay? And we're going to predict the products here. And a lot of you kind of missed this on the last quiz. Either you kind of messed up with the products or you just didn't know what to do. So, with neutralization, whenever you see this word neutralization, always water and salt. So H2O always comes first. So I'm going to do blanks just to make it easy. And then whatever's left, this is kind of the challenging part, I guess I would say, of the reaction. So whatever's left is your salt. So I'm going to grab another marker here. So again, this is your acid. This is your base. H2O is obviously your water. And then what's left is your salt. And my salt is your metal and non-metal. Alright, let me rewind real quick. I kind of got interrupted. But, okay, so acid and base, water and salt. The salt is what is left. So we did the H and OH. That made the H2O. What is left is, let me use this color, the Na and the NO3. So, Na, NO3. And make sure the metal always comes first. Okay? So, and then you have to double check charges, the very last step you do. So, Na has a charge of +1. NO3 from the special list has a charge of -1. So they cancel out. Alright? So, next problem. So KOH, would this be my acid or my base? So it ends with OH, so this is my base. H2SO4, which is my acid because it starts with an H. So when it comes to neutralization, it can be acid plus base or base plus acid, as long as it's in the reactant side. Okay? So, however, the product side, water always comes first, and then salt comes second. So we know water is H2O. And that is my HOH. Alright, and then what's left is my K and my SO4. Again, metal comes first. And then we check charges. K has a charge of +1. SO4 from the specialist has a charge of -2. So the 2 goes here. Alright. Alright, number 20. An aqueous solution has an H concentration of 5.6 times 10 to the -9. So that, I'm just going to already write this down so I know what I am given. And then it says calculate OH, pH, and POH. So everything. And then it's asking for acidic, basic, or neutral. Alright, so since I'm trying to find everything, let's just see what I can start with first. So I don't have to start with OH right away because realistically, H and OH don't have a direct calculation. So H we know correlates with pH. And what is the formula for pH? Negative log of H. And what is that? Negative log of this number. So when we plug that in, oops, I got 8.3. So in my calculator it says 8.25. I'm going to round to 8.3 as my pH. Okay? And then from my pH, what can I find next? I can find my pOH. And my pOH will be 14 minus my pH. So 14 minus 8.3, which comes out to be 5.7. All right, so now we can find our last thing, which is my OH. And that is 10 to the negative pOH. So that would be 10 to the negative 5.7. So let's find that real quick. That would be 2. I'm rounding it to 2. 2 times 10 to the power negative 6. And has a concentration of molar. Alright, so these are my 3 little answers. So just as another reminder, again, I rounded to 2 because 1.99. So the nice thing about multiple choice for this test is that you'll be seeing the options, and you can easily see what option is closest to what you found. But again, if there's an E, that is the times 10. Do not ignore that E. It's not just 2. It's not just 1.99. This is part of it. So just make sure that you don't forget that. Okay? The last bit of the question is the solution acidic, basic, or neutral? So out of these 3 numbers, which number do you look at to determine the acidity? You look at the pH. So 8.3 is above 7, therefore it is basic. Alright, don't look at pOH, careful, because if that's the case, that'll be acidic. But no, pH and pH only determines the acidity or the basicity. Alright. Last but not least, almost done. Alright, naming. So again, you gotta remember your naming rules. I'm just gonna go through the bases first, because bases you just name this and this. That's it. So like for this first one, CaOH2. All it is that you name your metal as is, calcium, and then OH as is, which is hydroxide. That's why I love bases, because there's no weird hydro, ate something icky, Sprite is delicious. None of that. It's just metal hydroxide, metal hydroxide. That's it. Okay? And same thing here, RbOH. So Rb, the name for Rb is rubidium. Think I spelled that right. And then hydroxide. Awesome. Okay. Now, I think the last thing is this half is actually doing the formulas. So let's just do barium hydroxide. You do the symbols and then you do your charges. Okay. So barium, the symbol for that is Ba. Hydroxide, we know is OH. Please do not put HO. That may be a like an answer choice, so don't fall for it. Alright, and then the nice thing about hydroxide of OH, it has a -1 charge, so we don't even have to worry about that, but you have to double check with your metal charge. In this case, barium has a +2 charge, so the 2 goes down here because of the crisscrossing. Alright, so those are my bases. Now for the acids, so that's where a lot of the fun rules come to play. So we have HI, so HI, if my trick is just look at the second half of the formula, see like that, so that way it tells you like, okay, do I put hydro or no hydro? So as a little reminder, if it comes from the periodic table, you put hydro in front. If it comes from the special list or your polyatomic list, you do not put hydro, you just go directly to your name from the special list. Okay, that looks like an N. That's better. Alright. Sorry about that. Got interrupted again, but where was I? Let me try to do a little. There we go. I think I was at this problem here. HI. So again, I would look at the second half of the name, or sorry, the formula. If it comes from the periodic table, so like iodine, chlorine, fluorine, whatever, always start with hydro, and then you fill out the rest based on the element. So hydro, since we know I is iodic, or iodine, changes to iodic. It's always ic at the end, and then always add that acid. Okay? Now this one, special list. Okay, hopefully this is the last interruption. Jeez Louise. Okay. I was working on this problem. HClO3. Okay, since ClO3, this is an oxy acid, so it comes from the special list. I do not put hydro. I go straight to the name of ClO3. So we know ClO3 is chlorates. Alright? And so since it ends, so chlorate, and since it ends with 8, I change it to ic at the end. Acid. So let me add this special note here. So if the special list ends with 8, like nitrate, phosphate, sulfate, you change the ending to ic because I ate something icky. If from the special list ends with ite, like salt, sulfite, phosphite, chlorite, and change to us. So like Sprite is delicious. So chlorate, chloric acid. Okay? And then the rest here, they're all names, so this is where we have to do the formula and do charges and swap them. So acetic acid, so since we know that it doesn't start with hydro, it is straight from the special list. So acetic comes from acetate. So whenever we write the formula, since an acid always starts with an H, and then we write the compound. So acetate is C2H3O2. And then we check charges. So H is always +1. Acetate, according to the special list, has a -1 charge. So +1, -1 cancels out. Alright, sulfurous acid. Again, there it doesn't start with hydro, so it comes from the special list. I'm going to start with H. And then since it ends with OUS, I'm going to look for sulfite. And sulfite is SO3. Very last thing you need to do is the charges. H is +1, SO3 is -2. Where does the 2 go? Right here. Alright, so hydroiodic acid. So we kind of already did that up here. So HI. So honestly, I should have done hydrofluoric or hydrochloric, but yep, that's already done for you. Alright, perchloric acid. It doesn't start with hydro, so it's from the special list. And then since it ends with ic, the special list should end with 8. So perchlorate, and perchlorate is ClO4. I'll put H and then ClO4. +1, -1 cancels out. Beautiful. Then last but not least, we have phosphorus. So OUS is phosphite. HPO3. Then PO3 has a charge of -3, so the 3 goes here. Okay? And that is it. That concludes the test review. That took us nearly 3 days for me to make. But I hope this helped. And let me know if you have any questions. I have another extra credit opportunity for you since this is your final test of the semester, final chemistry test of the year, and this is a pretty big milestone for you. If you want that extra one little point, every point counts for you. If you want an extra point on, the test, since the test is all multiple choice, you can't really turn in a free response to me or anything. You will probably need a scratch sheet of paper to do all your work. for any of the math problems on the test. And then when you're done with the scratch paper, obviously you have to, turn that into me when you're done with the test. So and I will collect all those scratch sheets of paper. So if you want this extra 1 point in your scratch sheet of paper where you do all the work, obviously your name has to be on it so I know who it comes from. What you're going to do in that sheet of paper that you use, like in the bottom or the back side of your scratch sheet of paper, again, make sure it's visible so I can read it. You can, do a little box or something. Be like, what's your favorite part of chemistry? Just your favorite part of class. So I'd love to know what you enjoy about the class, something I should continue doing for next year. So yeah, that's basically like the conclusion of your chemistry career, basically. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And that concludes this video. Have a great day.